Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. While we're waiting for everyone to join us here for a minute, we want to just begin by launching a quick poll question for you all. So we'll do that real quick. All right, so our question is, how many adults in Mississippi have some college credits but no degree? You've got a couple of choices there. We'll leave the poll up for just a minute and get your answers. Right. Still getting a few folks answering. We'll give just a few more seconds. Okay, well, it looks like most of our participants have answered the poll. So the correct answer is 316,000. So that is your correct answer there. So thank you all for participating in the poll today. All right. So again, welcome to the webinar. And I am Shannon Grimsley, the Assistant Director of External Training and Partnership for the Woodward Hines Education Foundation and the Get to College program. We are recording today's session and we'll send a link to anyone who is registered. And for those watching this recording, today's date is April the 2nd, 2024, and the material in this webinar is current through the 23-24 school year. A few housekeeping items before we start the webinar. During this presentation, we cannot see or hear you. We are in webinar mode, but please feel free to use the chat box to communicate directly with the panelists, either the chat or the Q&A, and we will be monitoring those questions throughout the webinar. So we are going to be talking about today, in today's session, we are going to be talking about steps to re-enrolling in college after pausing. And during this session, you'll hear from two professionals who will give you lots of tips about how students, the best way for students and adults trying to go back to college to complete a degree. I'll now share a little background on Get to College and a few logistics before we get started. I will be the moderator of the webinar today, and Chelsea Williams, our Assistant Director of External Training and Partnerships, will be monitoring those questions and Q&A on the back end there. So Get to College is a nonprofit program of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation. We have 3 centers in Mississippi, one in Jackson, Ocean Springs, and South Haven, and we help parents, students, and high school counselors with all aspects of the college planning and financial aid process. And all of our services are free. In our centers, we offer personalized college counseling appointments where we can help students know when to apply for admission and scholarship, help fill out their FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, or advise on essay writing and interviewing. So I would now like to introduce our guest speakers for the day. Our first speaker for the day is Margaret Saffold. Margaret holds a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education from Tougaloo College and a Master of Science in Higher Education Administration from Mississippi College. She has more than 22 years of experience in federal student loans with in-depth knowledge in the navigation of loan repayment and default prevention counseling. As a loan portfolio manager, Margaret is responsible for proactively developing strategies that will prevent loan default and reduce delinquencies. She provides one-on-one counseling, in person and by phone, to educate borrowers on understanding and managing their student loan obligations. The discussions are to identify the borrower's situation and recommend a solution, such as changing repayment plan, loan consolidation, or deferment. And she develops a solution that best meets the borrower's need. Margaret also serves as a liaison between the borrower and the loan servicer. Her ultimate goal is to help the borrower get back on track and stay on track. She's passionate about making certain that borrowers are aware of their rights and responsibilities as student loan borrowers and tries to prevent them or to provide them comfort in knowing that help is always available. Margaret enjoys spending time with family, cooking, gardening, road trips, and volunteering at the Mississippi Food Network and serving at the Billy Bromfield Homeless Shelter for Men. So thank you for being here today, Margaret. Our second presenter is Stephanie Bullock. Stephanie is the Director of Strategic Initiatives for the Board of Trustees of the State Institutions of Higher Learning in Mississippi. She develops and manages strategic initiatives to drive equity in degree attainment for priority student populations. She also executes and manages the statewide initiative Complete to Compete and is charged with increasing education attainment, employment, and subsequent wage gains in Mississippi. Stephanie has a total of 23 years of professional and sales and management experience, both in retail and higher education. Stephanie has served in higher education as an undergraduate recruiter, readmissions administrator, assistant director of undergraduate admissions at the University of Southern Mississippi, and director of undergraduate admissions at Mississippi University for Women. She has been featured as a primary presenter at national conferences such as Higher Education User Group, Council for Adult and Experiential Learning, SHIO Higher Education Policy, and the League for Innovation in Community Colleges. She has also served on national advisory committees. Stephanie received her bachelor's degree in speech communication at the University of Southern Mississippi and her master's of workforce education leadership at Mississippi State University. She and her husband live in Brookhaven, Mississippi, where they have raised their 5 children. And in Stephanie's spare time, she runs a nonprofit called Beautifully Broken Ministries, whose mission is to bring purpose to the broken through the words of our testimonies and connecting those who need help to the proper resources. 2 busy, busy ladies. So thank you very much, Margaret and Stephanie, for being with us today. So I will now turn the presentation over to you, Margaret. Thanks so much. Margaret, I think you need to unmute.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Shannon, thank you for inviting me to be a part of today's Topic Tuesday. It is definitely a pleasure. As Shannon stated, I have more than 22 years of experience in working in the student loan industry. My experience has been quite rewarding because every day I get the opportunity to come to work and help students by lessening their burdens with student loans, by helping them prevent student loans. So today I want to answer 4 of the most common questions that I get from students who are looking to return to school. Next slide, please. Next slide. The questions that I get most often, number 1, what will happen to my student loans if I return to school? Number 2, how to request an in-school deferment. Number 3, I'm returning to school less than half time. What will happen to my student loans? And the most common question, can I go back to school with defaulted student loans? Next slide, please. Oh. What will happen to my student loans if I go back to school? If you're planning to go back to school and you have student loans, those student loans that are in repayment may be eligible for an in-school deferment. An in-school deferment suspends your monthly payment as long as you meet the eligibility requirement for an in-school deferment. Those requirements are you must be enrolled at least half time at an eligible school. An eligible school is a school that qualifies for federal student aid, and you must be pursuing a degree or certificate. There are pros and cons for the income defer for the in I'm sorry, for the in-school deferment. If your loans are subsidized, you're not responsible for paying the interest that accrues while you're in school. If they're unsubsidized, interest starts to accrue the moment that the loan is disbursed, and you're responsible for all the interest that accrues while you're in school. How to request an in-school deferment. The good news is you rarely have to request an in-school deferment. Typically, if you meet the requirements, your payments are automatically deferred because the school notifies the loan servicer about your enrollment status. There are some circumstances when the loan servicer has not been notified about the enrollment. When this happens, you can ask your school to provide an official document that provides proof of your enrollment status of at least half time. Or you can contact your servicer and ask for an in-school deferment request. You would have to complete section 1 of the request, and your school would have to certify page 2 of the request. If you are a parent who took out a Parent Plus loan and the student whom you took the loan out for is enrolled at least half time, you are eligible for the deferment, but you must request it through your school or through your servicer's office. Next slide. An important reminder, if you're enrolled in Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, you will not receive credit toward forgiveness during the time that you're in an in-school deferment. Next slide, please. If you're returning to school less than half time, you do not qualify for an in-school deferment. Your loans will remain in repayment. But if you cannot pay your monthly payment amount, you may be eligible for repayment options like other deferments where the payments are postponed. For example, if you're receiving public assistance from a state or federal agency or working full-time, but your gross monthly income is less than 150%, of the poverty guideline for your state and family size, you may qualify for an economic hardship deferment. You must reapply every 12 months to continue delaying your monthly payment. You must provide documentations to provide your eligibility, to prove your eligibility. Also, if you're working 29 hours or less and returning to school, you may qualify for an unemployment deferment. You must reapply for this deferment every 6 months. Keep in mind, for each type of deferment, you're only allowed 36 months over the life of the loan. During the deferment period, you're responsible for all the accrued interest on the unsubsidized loan. The federal government will pay the accrued interest on the subsidized loan. If at all possible, try to pay on the accrued interest on the unsubsidized loan. This will help reduce interest charges and save money. If you don't qualify for a deferment, another option is forbearance. The forbearance suspends payments in 12-month increments. Regardless of the loan type, you as the borrower is responsible for interest accrual during the forbearance period. If possible, again, try to pay on the accrued interest during the forbearance period. Because at the end of the forbearance period, the accrued interest is capped into your principal balance, which increases your loan amount. So as you can see, deferments and forbearance offer short-time reliefs. So it may be better to apply for an income-driven repayment plan. With these plans, your monthly payments are capped at a percentage of your income. So based upon your household income and your family side, you may get a payment as low as $0 or as low as $5. And your recertification is required for the income-driven repayment plan. And as always, never hesitate to contact your servicer to identify which option is most suitable for you and how to apply for each option. Next slide, please. Can I go back to school with the defaulted loan? That is the most common question that I get. You can go back to school with the defaulted loan. However, student loan default, which occurs at 270 days of missed payments on a federal student loan, makes you ineligible to receive federal student aid. You can go back to school, but you cannot receive any federal aid. Luckily, you're not without option. There are seven ways you can get your loans out of default to return to school. One way is to repay the defaulted loan in full, but that's not a practical option for most borrowers. The two other main ways right now are using the Fresh Start program and consolidating your loans. The Fresh Start initiative is a temporary program from the U.S. Department of Education that offers benefits for borrowers with defaulted loans before March 13, 2020. You have until September 30th, 2024 to enroll in the Fresh Start program. The Fresh Start initiative automatically offers benefits such as regaining access to federal student aid, stop collections and wage garnishment. You gain eligibility on other government loans, access to student loan programs, access to short relief programs such as forbearance and deferments, also access to income-driven repayment plan. To use Fresh Start to get out of default, you must contact your loan holder. Three ways to get out of default. Three ways to enroll in Fresh Start. The process usually takes less than 10 minutes. You can go to myeddebt.ed.gov and log in or create an account. I'm sorry, I should have had a slide for this, but I will get it to Shannon and she can post it.
Hey, Margaret, too, if Chelsea, if you can say that website one more time, we'll have Chelsea put it in the chat too.
Okay,
as well.
good deal. Thank you. It's myeddebt.ed.gov. Or you can call 1-800-621-3115. If you're deaf or hard of hearing, you can call 1-877-825-9923. This call would take less than 10 minutes. The third option, you can write a letter to the Default Resolution Group. The address is P.O. Box 5609, Greenville, Texas 75403. And your letter include your name, social security number, date of birth, your current mailing address, and state the following. I would like to use Fresh Start to bring my loans back in good standing. The letter must be postmarked by October 1st, 2024. Most importantly, the deadline to apply is September 30th, 2024. The next way to get out of default is consolidating your loans into a direct consolidation loan. Loan consolidation allows you to pay off one or more of your federal loans with a new consolidated loan. Keep in mind, when you consolidate a loan, your accrued interest get added to the principal balance. Then you'll get charged future interest on higher balance, which could cause you to pay more overall. To consolidate a defaulted loan into a new direct consolidated loan, you must either agree to pay the new direct loan under an income-driven repayment plan or make 3 consecutive voluntarily online full monthly payments on the defaulted loan before you consolidate. The consolidation process can be completed at studentaid.gov/loan consolidation. Loan rehabilitation. Normally, one of the main ways to get out of default is rehabilitation. But right now, the Fresh Start has replaced the loan rehabilitation. After the Fresh Start ends, loan rehabilitation would be an option again. Loan rehabilitation is a written signed agreement to make non-voluntary, reasonably and affordable monthly payment within 20 days of the due date during 10 consecutive months. To begin the loan consolidation process, you must contact your loan holder. After 6 months of payment, you become eligible for federal aid again. Keep in mind, your loan will still be in default until you complete the rehabilitation period. To stay eligible for student aid, you'll need to keep making your loan payment each month. If you miss a payment after your eligibility is reinstated, you'll become ineligible for student aid again. Next slide. Oh, we're behind. Next slide, I'm sorry. Next slide. Okay. Things to remember. If you're enrolled in school and at least half time, you may be eligible for an in-school deferment. Contact your loan servicer. Your loans will remain in repayment if you are enrolled in school less than half time. Contact your loan servicer to see what your options are. Don't be afraid to contact your servicer for repayment advice. Additionally, make sure you keep your contact up to date with your loan servicer. And lastly, the deadline to enroll in the Fresh Start program is September 30th, 2024. Next slide. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions about student loan repayment, please do not hesitate to contact me at this information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margaret. Margaret is a great asset to our organization here at Woodward Hines. And I can promise you, if you or one of your students contacts her, she will be very kind, very understanding, and help you with the best plan possible for you or your students. So thank you for your time today, Margaret. Any questions, Chelsea, for Margaret's portion of the presentation before we move on to Stephanie?
No, we did not have any questions for her to come through the chat.
Okay, so if you continue to think of questions even through Stephanie's portion, feel free to continue putting those questions in, and we'll have time for those questions at the end. So now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Stephanie.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Shannon, thank you for asking me to be a part today. I'm really excited to share one of the initiatives that I work with, Complete to Compete. We launched Complete to Compete in 2017. Many of you have probably heard of Complete to Compete, but for those that haven't, this program was created to help remove barriers that adult learners have when they try to come back to college. People that have some college credit but didn't finish a degree, for y'all know that just life happens and we're busy and we start having kids, and now we're a chaperone for the kids and carrying them around everywhere, and finding that time to go back to school and finish for us just really doesn't ever happen. But for those that do decide, they most times run into barriers, and I could list tons of barriers that we've seen, but we created the program to help break those barriers and encourage adult learners to come back and finish their degree. And so we launched in August of 17, and we have continued the program now. This will be our, well, I'm gonna get to line now, 6th or 7th year. And I think it's the 7th. And so we're really, really excited. I'm going to share some results with you too, but why would I come back to college as a complete to compete student? Well, there are several reasons that coming through the program would benefit you. One of them is we do have money that we are allowed to give as a C2C grant. Now, it is federal TANF funds, so these students do have to meet the TANF qualifications, but we are able to help so many families with giving them $1,000 scholarship for each qualifying semester to assist them with their expenses at any of our Mississippi public institutions. So that's a point that I haven't made yet, but Complete to Compete is a program at all 24 public institutions. So your public universities, the public community colleges, and the medical center. And so we're really excited to be working with all of them and have continued to work with all of them. But the grant, if they meet the qualifications, they're able to get that $1,000 each semester that they are enrolled in the program. And then we have C2C coaches. We have anywhere from 1 to 3 designated people at each institution across the state that works with the Complete to Compete students. And so if you think about going back, if you were to go back to college yourself right now, having one person to talk to that kind of helps you through the process rather than just having to bounce around to several offices, but having that one liaison that you can go back and ask questions to or ask guidance or you're confused about something, but having that one person, that concierge service almost, like where you can go to them for anything or any other barrier that you're running up against has been invaluable. Our C2C coaches have been amazing at really holding our adult learners' hands and helping them through. And, you know, sometimes people say, well, they're adults, they ought to be able to do it themselves. Well, I can tell you that for me, if I run into just a couple of barriers and nobody's willing to help me figure them out, I'm done. Like I probably didn't have the time to do it anyway. You know, I'll think of all of the excuses as to why. And so having that one person that they know they can call that builds rapport and relationship with them has really made a huge difference in students going ahead and finishing. And we know that because we've surveyed people that have finished and asked, you know, what was the most influential part of you coming back and finishing, and the C2C coach is almost always mentioned. And so, and these are people with student affairs hearts. They have the passion for these people coming back, that then they want to help them. I mean, I'll give you a really short story. We have one coach, and several of the coaches have been with us since launch. But we have one of the coaches that contacted me back in the fall and said, hey, I've got a student that contacted me. She can't pay her electricity bill this month. Is there anything we can do? And we rallied together and we found a way to get her some monies, not through the program, but monies to help her pay her electricity bill. Can you imagine if she'd have lost electricity, what would have happened to her as a student? We would have lost her again. And so that coach, she felt comfortable enough with that coach to call that coach and be vulnerable and say, I can't pay my electricity bill. I need help. And so she did that, and we were able to help her, and she's still enrolled and still on her way to graduation. So that coach is critical. And then at the university level, we created a university studies degree that is exclusive to Complete to Compete students. And it offers grade forgiveness and acceptance of technical credits, whereas prior to this program, not all of our institutions accepted technical credits toward a degree. And the ones that did only accepted a small amount. This will accept up to 30 hours of technical credits, and it allows flexibility in applying other earned credits. So for that 40-year-old that wants to apply for a promotion but can't because of that two little words in the requirements that say bachelor's degree, it doesn't say bachelor's degree in science or bachelor's degree in business or bachelor's degree in polymer science. I mean, it just says bachelor's degree. This is for those that I don't need a specific degree. I just need a degree. Can we use the credits I've already earned towards something? And so with the grade forgiveness and the 30 hours of technical credit, this university studies degree has made a huge difference in many people's lives. We've had many come to us that had already earned this university studies degree with the credits they already had and didn't know that they had a bachelor's degree earned. And so we've been able to award them a bachelor's degree based on the credits they already had and help them to progress and be promoted at work or find another job, making more money to help their family and to be more productive citizens in society. So being able to give back to the economy. Now, who can be a part of this program? You must be 21 years old. You must have earned at least 12 hours of college credit, and you have to have been out of college for at least 2 years. And it's as simple as going to our website and clicking on the many different buttons on the website that get you started in applying for the program. And once students apply to the program, they are directed to call and complete their registration with our call center. Call center gathers some more detailed information for the C2C coach. When registration is completed, they are emailed their C2C coach name, email, and phone number. And then that coach is also given their information. And so then they get connected and they begin the process of applying to the institution. What are the next steps? Maybe it's financial aid, maybe it's requesting transcripts. And that coach helps them with getting readmitted to their institutions, making sure they know who their advisor is, getting re-enrolled, and then checking in with them a couple of times a semester until graduation. And so what have we done since 2017? So some of the results that I want to share with you guys are really profound. These are actually as of January. And so you can see some testimonials here. I hope you'll read those. Those are real C2C students that have graduated through the program. And all of the pictures that we've used on here are C2C students from graduations. A lot of the pictures on our website are real. Some are still stock. We're working on another photo shoot to get some updated pictures. But you can see here that the average salary increase with a bachelor's degree is $30,000. And we've awarded over 2,300 bachelor's degrees with the program since August of 2017. And with associate degrees, we've awarded over 1,400 that have come back. And, some of those may have even already earned an associate degree and didn't know it. And how does that happen? Well, if I started at Copiah Lincoln Community College and after a year and a half was like, I'm tired of this, I'm going to go on to Southern Miss, and they just stopped at Colin and went to Southern Miss and began working on bachelor's in classes, and 3 semesters into that, something happens and they have to pull out. Well, we can take those bachelor's courses and look at reversing them back at the community college level to see if it completes and satisfies that associate degree. It's called a reverse transfer. And so some of the students, even at the associate degree level, had already earned an associate degree and didn't know it. And so when Complete to Compete came through, we were able to help them in bringing awareness to that and getting people that degree that they'd already earned. And then currently we have 839 students that have enrolled in the program, or that are currently enrolled in the program, I'm sorry. And overall, we've had 6,300 enrolled through the program since August of 2017. But you can even see the last testimonial is probably one of my favorites. Crystal Epps, she says, I sat out for almost 10 years. The CTC program helped me to get my college degree, and I got a job offer yesterday. So, and that was on the day of graduation that she made that statement. So it just goes to show you that, not everybody has to have an associate or a bachelor's. If you want to go back to the trade school and learn a trade, my middle son is currently doing that. All for that. Hear me say, I am all for that. But for those that want this route and want jobs that require degrees, this program has really helped those people. Becky Teasley, the second lady, she actually came back and finished her degree, has gone on to earn her master's, and is now beginning to work on getting her all of the licensures she needs to be a counselor for students that have been through trauma and been through things that they need assistance in overcoming and working through so that they can move forward in life. And so I'm really, really proud of her. I keep up with her on social media, and I've been really, really proud to watch her push through and persevere. And if you know her backstory, it's really even makes her future story even more phenomenal. But getting to know these students also has been very rewarding on my end as well. And like I said, I still follow her story to watch, and I keep encouraging her. And I do that with several, because that relationship is what makes the difference. And that's where that Complete to Compete coach comes in with this program. And so there is a ton of information on our website, and I believe that Chelsea is going to put that in the chat. You may wonder, well, how do I know if I'm eligible for the grant? Because eligibility for the program is different than the grant. The grant's a little more restrictive because, as I mentioned, it's that federal TANF money. But all of that information, including a self-evaluation form for people to look at and see, well, do I qualify for the grant, is listed on our website. There's a lot of ins and outs there and a lot of resources. We even have a careers page where we actually have some websites there that people can go to, not LinkedIn, not monster.com, not those type websites, but they are Mississippi generated websites to help people look for jobs in Mississippi. So I would encourage you to take a look at that, if nothing else. And I would love for you guys to go to Facebook, follow us on Facebook. We post lots of things there, testimonials, blogs, articles that help students with navigating through their college career, and being able to just follow what we're doing there, sharing those things on your personal pages to really help get the word out about what we are doing would be phenomenal. And I would highly encourage you to do that. And I would be very honored if you would, especially kind of scroll through there and get the testimonials, because those really pull on the heartstrings, and they really show people that the program is working and it is making a difference, and it is changing lives one degree at a time. But that is all I really have. I just wanted kind of a brief overview for everyone that didn't know anything about the program, and look forward to any questions that you guys may have, or if you have people that you've thought about, send them my way or send them to our website. Be happy to help them.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Chelsea, any questions for Stephanie at this point?
Not at this point. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in our Q&A, and we can stick around and answer those for you. But as of now, we do not have any for Margaret or Stephanie.
Great. Well, y'all, these are great programs that they talk to us about. Obviously, as we talked about earlier, Margaret is available to help you or your students if y'all have questions about loans. And then Stephanie, I was thinking as you were talking, I have a high school friend who just found out about the program, and she was one class short of getting that university studies degree you were talking about. And so she'll finish in the spring. And
That's awesome.
It's just an amazing program. I mean, we're 30 years out of high school, right? And she just found out about the program and never heard about it. And she was like, y'all, I'm getting a college degree
That's
from the
awesome.
University of Mississippi in May, so
That's great.
it's a great program that I think a lot of people aren't aware of. So thank you for bringing this to the forefront. The flyers that we showed here are available, and I believe Chelsea put those if you want to put them in places where folks might see this,
Yeah.
because we do know that a lot of our students in Mississippi are doing a stop out, as Stephanie talked about. Life happens, things with loans, life happens, right? So we want to make sure that everybody is aware of the resources that are out there, because it's an easy thing to fix. Like, right, Margaret, especially with the loans, if people will just reach out. You don't have to go into deferment. You don't have to just not pay your loans. There are ways to make this happen. So thank y'all today for letting us know all of these different resources that are out there. And we appreciate everything y'all do for our Mississippi students. So very quickly, we are approaching the end of our spring semester. I know that those of you in the schools are feeling that deeply, that it is April, almost May. So today was our next to last Topic Tuesday. So stay tuned for our next Topic Tuesday webinar, which will be Tuesday, May the 7th. And our topic that day will be closing the digital divide in rural areas. May will be our last Topic Tuesday for the 23-24 school year. If after that May webinar you've participated in 5 webinars over the course of the year, you'll have the opportunity to apply for 0.5 CEUs. And if you've participated in all 10 webinars over the fall and spring semesters, you'll have the opportunity to apply for 1 full CEU. This last Topic Tuesday for 23-24 is listed on our website under the educator header, then select Topic Tuesday under the events section. I also wanted to tell you all very quickly about another event that I didn't get a slide in here for. Our training team just decided yesterday that we are going to host a 3-week webinar series. We know there have been a few challenges over the past couple of weeks and months with the new FAFSA. So different updates are coming up every day. So we are going to do a 3-week webinar series hosted by the training department at Get to College. The dates for that are April 16th, 23rd, and the 30th. So basically every Tuesday, we're kind of taking up Tuesdays again for the month of April to update y'all on some of the FAFSA issues going on. So the first one on April 16th is going to be about FAFSA fixes and updates that we have at that point. We're hoping that students will be able to make corrections at that point. So we're going to talk about FAFSA fixes and updates. On April 23rd, we're going to walk you through where to find the FAFSA submission summary and what information is included there. And we'll do another corrections overview at that point. And then on April 30th, we are entitling our webinar After the FAFSA, what to do after the FAFSA, how to counsel our students once those FAFSA results are in. So we hope y'all will join us for that. You can register for that webinar series, any or all of them, on our website. If you sign up and are unable to attend for some reason, you will also get the recordings. So just wanted to put in a plug for that new webinar series, and we hope you'll join in. That concludes our webinar for today. And as always, please feel free to reach out to us or our presenters, and we will be glad to follow up with you with any questions. So thanks so much, and have a happy rest of April. And we hope to see y'all at the end of April for our webinar series. So thanks again, Margaret and Stephanie, and we'll see everyone soon. See you all.